In this video, I'll take you through some steps for editing images in Photoshop and Illustrator so that you can use them to make an animated banner ad, which we'll do in the next video using Adobe Edge Animate. Here's the photo we'll be working with. It's a photo of some sunflowers in a field. When you edit images for banner ads, one of the keys is to get your file sizes as small as reasonably possible so that the pages will load quickly and you stay within the Internet Advertising Bureau guidelines for file sizes. As you can see here, this document is 43 megabytes, so that's obviously not going to work. We can look at the image size under Image size, and this shows us it's a 66 inch by 44 inch file, which is a lot bigger than what we need. However, before we change the image size and reduce it, let's do any kind of color correction that we need to do before we take the data out of this picture. This photo looks a little washed out to me. It was taken without a UV filter on a bright day. So let's see if we can bring up these colors a little bit more, especially since this is going to be eventually a really small image, 300 pixels wide by 250 pixels tall, which makes it pretty small even on a web page. So it'll help if we can get these colors to really pop out a little bit. To do that, let's go to Image Adjustments and go to Levels. Now, to bring out the yellow, we want to manipulate the red and the green. That'll also bring out the green a little bit. So let's go to the red channel. I'm going to dial this to about somewhere in here. Now the green, try about the same. And that's coming up a little bit better. Let's click OK there. And then finally, let's also adjust the saturation a little bit. Bring this up maybe about 20. And we've got a nice, bright, vivid color here. Crop and reduce this image. Let's click on the crop tool. And then instead of, we could just drag it, or a better way is to define the proportions that you want. To do that, you click on here and you've got several different options here. I want to go with a ratio, and I'll define the ratio as 30 by 25, which is the same ratio as 300 by 250, which will be our final file size. Okay, so now we've got the proportion the way we want it. Let's go ahead and slide this image over to the side. And that looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and crop now. We can see the cropping reduced our file size a little bit, but not nearly enough. Let's go to image size. We'll change the units to pixels. And we want a file that's 300 pixels by 250. So our proportion should be already correct. So if we change this width to 300, it comes up to 250 pixels. For the resampling, when you're going to make the image smaller, you usually go with this, the bicubic sharper, or you can go with the automatic. And that's our new size. So if we expand and look in a little bit, bring this up to 100% view. That's what our image will look like. Yes, that was my dog ruing in the background. Let's go ahead and export this image as a JPEG now that we're finished with resizing it. Go to Export As, and right now we're at 219 kilobytes. If we change this to a JPEG, it's going to bring us down to 48 kilobytes, so that's a lot less than the original 43 megabytes that we started with. All right, let's go ahead and make a couple more variations of this photo so we have more images to work with when we're ready to build an animated banner ad. To do this, let's go to our history window, and we'll go back a couple of steps to where we finished the color adjustments. Command 0 to fit in the window, and that's back to our original photograph. On this second image, what I want to do is make it slightly bigger than the first one, but to use the same proportions, only this time I want to center the sunflower in the middle of the frame. So let's go to the crop tool, and we still have the 30 by 25 proportion already in there. Let's crop in a little bit. That's pretty good. And put that sunflower right in the center of the frame. That's pretty good. And crop it. Now let's go to image size, and this time I want to make the image 500 pixels, which will give us a height of 417. And that's what that looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and save this file. And we'll save this as a JPEG also. And keep it as a large file for now, and then I want to do one more version where we are going to change the image mode to grayscale, and let's save that. And now we've got the grayscale image. Now, using Adobe Illustrator, we'll open the grayscale Photoshop file. There it is. And then using the live trace feature in Illustrator, we'll create a couple of more abstract versions of the black and white photo. So let's go ahead and select the grayscale photo, and we go here to the image trace function here. And the first one I want to make is the sketched art. All right. Expand that. And that's the sketched art version. Let's go ahead and save that as a PNG. So we'll go save for web. And PNG. Click save, and there we go. Let's go back to our black and white photo opened in Illustrator. Select it. We'll do another image trace, this time as a low fidelity photo. Expand that one. And we'll save that as a PNG as well. So save for web, PNG, and save. In the next video, we'll take all these images and use them to assemble an animated banner ad using Adobe Edge Animate.